On this week's episode, we've got a fascinating story about a baseball player that helped the New York Yankees to win their first World Series, Outfielder Whitey Witt. Not only was he a member of that historic championship team, he knew and played with or against many other legends of the game as well, including Lou Gehrig, Cobb, Joe Jackson, and he was very close friends with none other than Babe Ruth. So join us today as we share with you Whitey Witt's story and show you some of his nostalgic relics, dating as far back as his rookie season in 1916, right here on History and Relics. Lawton Walter Witt, nicknamed Whitey, was born Ladislaw Waldemar Witkowski on September 28, 1885. He grew up in the small town of Orange in Franklin County, Massachusetts, and later settled in Salem County, New Jersey. Whitey Witt was not a household name, but he was regarded as one of the finest leadoff batters and fastest men of his era. Witt had an excellent career that was as fascinating as it was remarkable. In his 10 years in the majors that later afforded him a silver lifetime pass, Witt had a lifetime batting average of .287 with 1,195 hits in 1,139 games. He was never a power hitter as he only had a total of 18 home runs with 302 runs batted in. The numbers, however, only tell part of the story. Witt started his professional career with the Philadelphia Athletics in 1916, hitting .245 his rookie year and earning a salary of $1,800. He hit slightly better at .252 in his second year. And speaking of his rookie season, we present to you Witt's 1916 rookie era game-used Louisville Slugger bat. This is a pre-model era bat with a dash center brand that's indicative of the early teens. It's 33.5 inches long and weighs in at 35.5 ounces. The handle has a crack with a nail repair that was common back then, and Witt's last name is shown here in block lettering, indicating that he did not have or give an endorsement to Louisville Slugger. Otherwise, if he did, you'd see a facsimile of his signature. Witt got a name change early on. Connie Mack didn't want to write Witkowski on the batting card every day, so he changed his name to Witt. Then, because he had blonde hair, Mack called him Whitey. Thus, Whitey Witt. Witt was then drafted by the Army in 1918 for World War I, but returned to Philadelphia in 1919 and played through 1921 when Mack sold him to the New York Yankees for a reported $15,000. The sale came about after Witt was disappointed after receiving a smaller than requested raise from Mack. During an exhibition game with St. Louis a week before the season was set to open, it was pouring down rain, and Witt was soaked and standing in ankle-high waters in right field. With the winning run on base, a ball was hit to Witt, but instead of throwing it to third, he launched it over the catcher's head into the grandstands. Mack later pulled him aside and said, "I'm going to get rid of you. Where would you like to go?" And to the Yankees, he went. Yankees manager Miller Huggins gave Witt a much-deserved boost in pay, upping his salary to $9,000 a year. Witt did well and helped the Yanks to win the pennant in 1922, but they lost the World Series for the second straight year in a row to the New York Giants. They were swept in 1922 in a 5-game series. And speaking of Connie Mack and Miller Huggins, Witt's career was built around Hall of Famers. He not only played with Mack and Huggins, he once roomed with Nap LaHoy. and Zach Wheat was there when Lou Gehrig got broke in as a rookie. Witt was also one of the few who could hit off of Walter Johnson, and he was good friends with Ty Cobb, Mickey Cochrane, and Goose Goslin. Witt has been quoted as saying Lou Gehrig was more valuable to the Yankees ball club than Babe Ruth because he was so consistent. But the most consistent hitter that he ever saw was Joe Jackson. And in terms of Ty Cobb, he once said that Connie Mack wouldn't say Detroit Tigers, it was always Ty Cobb. We're playing Ty Cobb today, he'd say. And Mack would always coach, you better always throw the ball 2 bases ahead of Cobb. Now you might ask, what about the Babe? Babe Ruth? Well, Witt was one of the Bambino's best friends. And we've got a really good story to tell on that in just a moment. The year now is 1923, and things are looking quite bright for the Bronx Bombers, who just got a brand new stadium built. And on opening day, April 18th, 1923, before a jam-packed crowd of more than 74,000, it was Witt who got to be the first batter up for the Yankees at the new stadium. Witt hit a hard grounder to Chick Fuster of the visiting Red Sox, who threw it to George Burns at first for the out. However, in the 3rd inning, Witt was walked by pitcher Howard Emke with 2 outs. Dugan was up next, who got an RBI single. Then, it was time for Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth had quipped to a nearby reporter, "I'd give a year of my life if I could hit a home run in the first game in this new park." And that wish came true as Ruth blasted Emke's pitch to the stands in deep right field. Witt came home and thus becoming the first Yankee to score on a Babe Ruth home run in the new ballpark. The Yanks won their first game 4-1. With Whitey hitting .314, scoring 113 runs, and hitting a career-high 6 home runs, the Yankees went on to win the pennant and capture their first World Championship. In the World Series, they beat the Giants in 6 games. Each Yankee player got a winner's share of $3,132.50, along with a solid gold watch made by Gruen. But from the World Series came something that gold can't buy, a lasting friendship. Ruth was the same age as Witt, and the two became inseparable friends, on and off the field. Babe called Witt "Laddie Boy," and would holler that out when a ball was hit towards him in right field. "Get on your bike, laddie boy." Now, even though Ruth didn't really drink as much as had been rumored at the time, he and Witt were fined once by Yankees owner Jack Rupert after the two were found drinking heavily in an illegal brewery in Chicago during Prohibition. Ruth was fined $5,000, and Witt was hit with a fine of $500. Whitey, whose highest salary was $9,000 for one season, finished his career with the Yankees after the 1925 season. That winter, the Yanks sold Witt to the Brooklyn Robins, where he roomed with Zach Wheat. Witt hit .259 in 1 year as a reserve outfielder in Brooklyn. After playing his last game on August 18, 1926, and getting released at the end of the season, he dropped down to the minors, a level he had never played before. Witt spent 3 years in the minors, playing 1 season each for the San Francisco Mission Reds, the Kansas City Blues, and the Reading, Pennsylvania Keystones. At the end of the 1929 season, he retired from professional baseball and returned for good to his home in South Jersey. However, Witt did manage to play for a semi-pro team in the area while chumming around with his neighbor, former Washington and Detroit great and future Hall of Famer Goose Goslin. After his retirement from baseball and until about 1971, Witt owned and operated a tavern called Whitey's Irish Bar on Main Street in Woodstown, New Jersey. Ex-players from miles around would come to hear Witt's stories about his earlier playing days. Witt's wife, Mary McLean, had passed away in 1962, and the couple had no children. Whitey was frequently seen participating in old-timers games at Yankee Stadium and had previously been a featured guest at the ballpark's 25th anniversary celebration in 1948. And when Babe Ruth passed away in August of 1948, Witt stood by his old friend's casket at the viewing at Yankee Stadium for 5 hours. Eventually, he sold his bar and for many years afterwards spent his winters in Florida and his summers in South Jersey. Witt lived alone with his memories and mementos in a 160-year-old farmhouse that he bought in 1921. The house was eventually surrounded by farms that raised harness racing horses. Witt loved the game of golf too, and even into his 90s played 3 days a week, and the other 2 days you'd find him at the racetrack across the bridge in Delaware. Whitey died at home on July 14, 1988, at the age of 92. He had just played a round of golf the day before. At the time of his death, Witt was the last surviving member of the 1923 World Series Championship Yankees team. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed our program. If you like our content, we ask that you give us a thumbs up, a like, share with your friends, subscribe to our channel, and ring that notification bell so you always know when our new content is published. And all of this costs nothing, but means a lot to us and keeps us growing. You may also leave us a tip if you choose. The address is provided here on your screen, and a link is provided in the description area below. So until next time, everyone, this one is history. Hey, and be sure to check out our eBay store under ID, History and Relics. We're now featuring channel merchandise, starting with our new logo magnet. They're only $5.50, and net proceeds go towards supporting our channel.